afternoon, everybody. So glad you're here. I'm letting people in. My apologies. Uh, oops. Yeah, I made the chat really big. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for coming here to our Wow Wednesday testimonials. Our disclaimer. I'm going to read the disclaimer real quick. The AO scan technology is not a medical device. The statements that are going to be shared here tonight have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. So if you are sick, please consult with your healthcare provider. And everything that we share here is for entertainment purposes only and freedom of speech. So without further ado, I'm going to just open it up and let anybody that would like to share a testimonial about any of the products you see that are listed. I've added the supplements, the 660 band, the inner illuminator, our AO scanner. I needed to find Cephi dots and the other things, and I'll get those added at a later time. We kind of got home late. So open it up and let's just hear y'all's testimonials. And anybody could go for it, Tamara.
Okay. So Sunday, I'm in Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin area, and you could see the Aurora Borealis. And I was sitting there watching some TV, and I got a sharp headache in the corner of my eye, and it kind of went to the middle of my eyebrow, like a stabbing pain. Went away, did it again, went away, didn't think anything of it. Watching TV, so there was lights and stuff going on. Went outside to watch the skies, and I said to my neighbor, "Do you see like fireflies?" And she's like, "No." I'm like, "I see shoots of light." And she's like, "Oh, okay. I don't." I'm like, "Well, I am, kind of energetic and feel weird things." But went to bed, noticed it when I woke up again, and I thought, something's going on. So I did my scanner, and so I had, it was my right eye. So a bunch of stuff for my right eye came up: the right annular ring, the right retina, the right inferior oblique, conjunctivita, the right lens, right superior oblique. So I'm like, okay. So I was seeing these flashes of light, and I'm like, okay, I hear people talk about migraines. Maybe it's a migraine. Muscle test, it wasn't a migraine. Source, I Google it. And it talks about vitreal detachment. It talks about, could be retinal detachment, stuff like that. So I have a client of mine who's works in the eye office, and I told her my symptoms. Should I go? She's like, "Well, I've had people have more symptoms and it be nothing, and less and it be something. So it doesn't hurt to get it checked out." Well, I haven't been to the eye doctor since 1995. So I'm like, oh, this ought to be good. So, and basically what she said was a visceral or a vitreal detachment is what's happening. So, and you're how do you say that? Iridologist?
Iridologist or iridologist. You'll
so
hear.
I know that you work with the eye, so you'll probably have some insight on this. But I ran, I created a playlist for, eye. Sinus came up too with it because I was muscle testing. I'm like, okay, I'll throw that in there. I didn't do any homeopathy. I kind of looked up what would be for homeopathy, and I wrote a bunch of those down, but I haven't added those in yet. I do say, so that was Monday. I'm seeing less of it, and I'm just setting the intention. Of course, you hear all these horror stories from everybody else that, oh, I needed surgery and I have a black floater that, I'm like, okay, we're not going to attach any energy to that whatsoever. I have tools, my scanner. So yeah, so I'm not that I'm excited I had an issue, but I'm excited,
Are you scheduled to go back? Are you needing to go
in
back?
4 weeks. So
in 4 weeks. It's going to be interesting. You'll have to report back to us.
Right.
And let us know.
Yeah. I'm super excited. I don't have the
illuminator.
You guys all doing the eye one. I don't have that. I do have a wand, the terahertz wand. So I've been created a routine with that.
Good.
And like I said, I'm just going to keep playing with the playlist. And if you have any insight on, your career with working with eyes and stuff, what you know, or what you've experienced.
I put some Cepheid dots on your temples at night with something with eyes imprinted.
Okay.
And wear those at nighttime.
Okay.
Either that or put them on like inside of a sleep mask with the Cepheid dot facing towards the eye would even be good, and tape them on the back of that sleep mask. And it's a suggestion just to put, because who was it that was able to help their little dog with that same type of issue? I mean, they were saying, I think it was Carrie Summers' little dog that they did a testimonial on, and they ran frequencies as all they did, playlist, and his eyes got better. So it's worth a shot.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad you had issues, but I'm glad you didn't have big issues, and I hope that it gets straightened out.
Exactly.
I firmly believe we're going to put it out there and it's going to get better.
That's right. Thank you. Yes.
This is why I'm so excited that we have such advanced tools, because when these things happen and we don't know different, we succumb to their ways, which always have not so great outcomes or residual effects. And we have tools for no matter what happens. So that's so exciting.
And even though we're talking about the AO scanner and its products, a lot of us here on this call have several other tools, and I'm going to encourage you, please use your other tools too. So do not hold back. Any other testimonials, or people want to speak out about what they're doing with any of the things like the 660 band, the inner illuminator, the AO
Hey,
scanner? Go ahead, Lene.
So this morning, my son went and got his ingrowns taken out, and his toe started to look like it was infected. So I took it. He's had a Cepheid dot on his foot, just because I've been doing like pain meds and stuff like that on him. But today it was starting to look infected, so I decided to just make up a small playlist of antibiotics and infections and stuff like that. And I went and just scanned it on his Cepheid dot, and he went all day wearing it, but he kept the bandage off because I thought maybe it needed to breathe too. And within 2 or 3 hours, we could see the swelling completely come down.
Nice. Remember, hit that erase button from time to time.
I did erase it first.
Yeah.
I did erase it first, and then I put that on it.
Good girl.
And then I don't know. I don't have migraines, but lately I've been getting these weird little flashes. So like when you look at the sun and you get this little weird bright thing in your eye, but I walked into a dark room, and all of a sudden I had that bright thing come into my eyes, and then all of a sudden from the outside coming in, it started getting like really blurry for a while until I almost black out.
Oh no.
Anyways, and then that happened, and then 3 days later I start getting these headaches that I just never ever have gotten before. Anyway, so I decided to use the same pain relief on myself that I had been given to Clarence, but I just ran it on the scanner. I didn't do it on the Cepheid dot.
It'd be interesting to have you run, like, I've got a 5G list. It'd be interesting to see if you run that list around that same time. I wonder if, maybe some towers are being turned up around you, or because you never have it.
Could be. But anyways, I just ran that for about 2 or 3 hours, and I barely turned it off probably about an hour ago, and I'm starting to feel the headaches come back on again. But the time it was running, I did not feel, I was able to go along with my day and didn't have a problem.
Yeah.
Go right ahead, Carolyn.
Well, if you're finished, Lene.
Yes, I'm finished.
Okay, I'm just so excited about this. I had to give a talk at my church this last week, and I was really nervous about it. And so I think I had 5 or 6 bracelets on, and I had imprinted them with confidence. And I thought, oh, what the heck? So I gave my talk, it was fine. And then afterwards, I was almost high. I was like walking around, talking to people, smiling. I was just feeling so good. I mean, I haven't felt this good for a long time. And the only thing I can contribute it to is the frequencies on confidence, because I couldn't, I hadn't had any caffeine. It wasn't a caffeine high. It was just such a neat feeling. So that's all.
Nice.
Carolyn,
Go ahead.
she's speaking even different tonight, don't you think?
Yes.
You're
Yes.
different.
What am I doing?
You're speaking just much more confident and clear.
Oh, well, I don't usually have anything to say. I usually just have questions.
But your air
Oh.
is different.
Yeah,
Oh,
it is.
that's really interesting.
You know what I was going to say? You've always told me from the get-go that you've had difficulty feeling the frequencies or feeling differences. And you
Yeah.
just said you imprinted 5 bracelets. I'm wondering if you just need a little extra more than the average person. And you know what? Try it. I know that you've had some issues in the past because you've talked to me about them. Try little extra frequencies on those issues
Okay.
and see if it doesn't change something for you. Because I would put 5 bracelets around that issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
I know. Yeah, I know. It's just incredible. That's
so
the
that
only.
might be your key. That it may just take you a little bit more.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Interesting. Thank you, Tammy.
Yeah, most definitely. That's exciting. Thanks for sharing.
But I
Anybody?
also,
Go
one more
ahead.
question, sorry.
Yeah, I'm still
One
thinking
thing
about yours.
I'm wondering though, is I have some varicose veins, and I have one vein that has just gone hard and it hurts like crazy in my leg. Is there anything I would do for that? Is there a list of anything?
I mean, I have a varicose vein list I can send you, and then I would do the erase button on top of that and maybe put a seppi dot near that area.
I know something. I have DVTs, and so I have been doing something called the Banerjee protocol, which is Crotalus horridus. It's a homeopathic remedy. So go to the homeopathics and pull that up.
Can you put that in the chat?
Sure. Yeah, happy to.
Thank you.
It actually helps your body to absorb the blood clots, is what that
Okay.
does. So
Okay.
Yeah. Tammy, could you put your playlist for varicose veins on the chat?
I will. I sure
Okay,
will.
thank you.
Yep. Certainly will. Anybody else got some wonderful?
Hey there, how are you?
Good. Go right ahead. How are
Oh,
you, Dr. Janine?
I'm doing great. This is more about just building belief. This was actually amazing. This happened yesterday. I was working with a remote client. Now, typically with those people, I was really only doing symptom survey, comprehensive blood work, tissue mineral analysis, nothing energetic. So I have to show you, I know you won't be able to see what it is. I'm going to tell you what it is. I just want you to see how many reds there were. So I did this scan yesterday. Let me see if I can line this up to the camera. Can you see that? Okay,
Yep.
there's that one. Not that way. See all those
Wow.
reds?
Yeah.
Okay, so you see pre-scan, it was almost all reds. Post-scan, I only had 3 reds. This was cardiovascular, cerebrovascular. And this was a young lady who had just gotten out of the hospital from having a heart attack, 37 years old. So I was like, wow. I didn't have her picture because we haven't done anything energetic. She thinks this stuff is woo-woo. So I didn't even let her say no. I just said, listen, I've got this new scanner. We need to see what's going on with you. Let me get, the date, the height and the weight. That's all I needed. I had all her other information. I put it in, scanned it, and this is what I got on a vitals. And I'm just like, wow, it's pretty amazing. And she was blown away. I mean, I started telling her like all the stuff, and she's like, oh my God, that's amazing. It's so weird, but it's so amazing. I said, I know.
That is nice. Thank you for
And
sharing.
what was so powerful about it is that after optimization, there were only 3 things left. And so, you know, we got that nutrition in there, and I just know she's gonna be okay.
Yeah,
Wow, that's
absolutely.
awesome.
That's a key too, guys. When you've got people that you're scanning and you see lots of reds, and then you see quite a few of them switch over to greens, they'll flip flop for a little while. But after you've done 5 or 6 scans and optimizes with those people, then you're able to see what the true issues are because you're giving the body the needed frequencies. So you're going to see changes. That's a beautiful thing. I just love that.
It's
So
also, to me, it when I see a lot of shifts after the optimization, it kind of lets me know that their body loves and uses the frequencies, and that they are, you know, that that's a great treatment for them.
Yeah, most definitely.
so on the scans, when you're scanning and there's 2 different ones. There's, oh, I forgot. You just want to do the one, because I've seen one where it goes red, orange, and green. Do I want to do the one on where it just shows red and green? That's
If
the one I
you
want to focus on.
A lot of people do that, Lene, if you're not really tuned into the different numbers, you know, the ones and the nines. I'm just so used to seeing now the new ones and nines. That's the scan I look at. But like for most people that just really don't, maybe they haven't had it for a long time, they will just look at the classic view, which is just the reds and the greens, because it just kind of helps you know where am I out and where am I in, you know?
I see. Okay.
Because if, I mean, having all of the different numbers sometimes can be a little overwhelming and a little bit too much information for people that are just now coming in. That's why I tell everybody when they get started, just look at the classic view for now, you know, and then when you start getting more of an understanding and how to connect the dots, then move over to the other view, unless you're a practitioner and it's just a challenge for you, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's what Lauren said, is to
Yeah.
just look at the classic view.
Yeah, that's all Lauren does too. Anyway, I mean, he'll tell you I don't hardly ever look at my scans, and he doesn't. He just scans and optimizes. I don't
Question
look at
about
mine
that,
either.
if I may.
Go ahead. Yes.
Do you have any reason to think, because you've been in this much longer than many of us, do you have any reason to think that they're going to get rid of the classic view at some point?
I don't know.
Because
They've tried to do that a couple of times, and people have thrown fits about it. So
I started with the what is it called? The enhanced view? Is that what's the other one? I started with the enhanced, and I'm even creating my own spread. Well, I'm not doing it, but I'm having a spreadsheet created for that. And the more I look at the numbers, the more I realize, for me, even as a practitioner, I don't know that I care as much as I do about what's in balance and what's out of balance. And looking at that gives me a better view, because they're right next to each other, where the enhanced view, it's on one side, and then you got to look over to the other side because it has the 2 rows on each side. So I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, I think I'm going to focus more on the classic view, but I know that in some companies they have different views and then they start phasing the other one out. So I was just wondering, that was what made me ask that question.
yeah.
I don't,
Go ahead. Go ahead. Who's talking?
I don't see that happening, just because, I mean, we've got a technology that's so advanced and so easy to use. We don't want to knock out a certain group of people. I mean, I personally love the fact that not only do I talk to practitioners, but I can talk to stay-at-home moms that just want to take care of their families, or people that have been suffering with chronic conditions that nobody finds the answer. They're tired of going practitioner to practitioner, and they can do this at home. They don't need to know all the stuff we know. They've got it so simple with red and green. I can't see Lauren ever taking that away.
Yeah, no, I don't either. And the other thing, Dr. Darrell, is that like for people like Becky Coots, you know, she does the gut programs, and seeing a 1 and a 9 in a particular area is extremely helpful for her, because that helps her make a deduction on, is a person in need of something or is it causing them inflammation? So, you know, that view is going to be particularly important to those people that looks at the 1s and the 9s, where me and a lot of us, we just like that simple red or green view.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people do.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other tests? Go right ahead, Dr. Sheila.
So my little lady in Australia, Maria, she can't join on these calls, but she shared something today that was, I thought, very helpful. She'd created a playlist last night for herself with shoulder and knee pain, recovering from bursitis, frozen shoulder, and torn tendons. And she had a playlist playing simultaneously and continuously. Not sure how long it lasted before her tablet went to sleep, but when she woke up a few hours later, she had no more pain or stiffness in her shoulder. And what she did to build her program, because she is new to all this and she's not a practitioner, she did some Google searches. She searched for homeopathic remedies that would be supportive of these conditions, and she found them in her scanner and built her playlist that way. I thought that was very empowering.
It is. I mean, even Deborah Bruce talks about how we need to just Google something. If we don't know what something is, Google it. You'll get a good picture of what it is. And then you'll be able to, a lot of times, even as a medical coder, I'll go, oh, what's the symptom steps for this type of disease? So I always Google and go back and do some research. And that always helps me build a very powerful playlist, with what we have in our Cephis. So, look up your symptoms, your conditions, and see what you need to add to your playlist. Those playlists are powerful. I'm working with a client right now that just had back surgery, and we're doing stuff for nerve pain, and we're doing 2-hour, playlist every day for nerve pain, and she's already starting to feel some, comfort from that. So you've got something very powerful in your hands. Very powerful. We just got to use it.
I know.
Hey, so I have a question. If you're wanting to take something that's okay, you like run a scan in homeopathics where it's something like a supplement that you want to run, like your cell salts or something like that. How long do you run it before it's too much?
Your body will only use what it needs. You can run that 24/7 for the next 3 or 4 days, and your body will only absorb and use that frequency as much as it needs it.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes I wonder, I've asked Lauren, and I don't know if he has a specific answer yet or not, but you know how sometimes you're running these playlists and then they just stop?
Yeah.
I wonder oftentimes if that's because we've had enough and we don't need any more. I don't know.
It could very well be. I've often thought of that myself, because I've heard people say that, my thing just quit in the middle of the night. And I'm like, it's either your connection or it could be like you just said. I mean, it's pretty smart.
All right. So I have a story if there's
Yeah, go
somebody
for it.
else.
Go
So
for
my
it.
mom, she's 80. And so this is in essence like woo stuff to her.
Of
But
course.
her experiences with Cephis have been so strong that she has just termed this zapping. And so she'll say, zap me. My mom has had an operation recently, and so she's recovering and she's in pain constantly. But when I run Cephis on her, usually she comes out of pain pretty quickly. So one night last week or a few days ago, she sent me a message saying, before you go to bed, can you zap me? And I was already in the bed and I just was lazy. I didn't feel like doing it, and I didn't do it. The next morning on my way to work, I get a message from her saying help. And so I'm panicking, thinking that there's something massive happening. So I ask her what's going on. And she says, I had a horrible night's sleep. I'm in so much unbearable pain. Can you zap me? And so I get to the office. And immediately I pull up her Cephi. I've got a playlist for her, and I just start on the playlist, and I check back in on her in about 5 minutes, and she started saying, thank you. Like, I'm so much better. I was able to get up to go to the bathroom, and now I'm going to try to sleep because I got no sleep last night. And it was an interesting thing because she didn't know that I didn't run the Cephis the night before. She didn't know. And I felt like crap. I'm thinking to myself, here I am. I could have done this. I didn't. There's no coincidences. There's no way that she went all night long with all of this pain. And within 5 minutes of me running the Cephis, a whole night of pain went away so that she was able to get sleep. And so Dr. Janine allowed me to understand from that, that even though I felt bad and I felt like crap, it was able to solidify so strongly that this is working, because there's no way to deny that.
Yeah.
So strongly that this is working, that there is some good that came out of that. And I guess I won't ever do that again.
Did you at least let her know so that she knows that it wasn't failing?
No, I didn't, because she knows. I guess she knows in essence, because there are times that she'll say, zap me, and I'm too busy or I forget. And she will immediately, about an hour or so later, she'll tell me, you didn't do it, did you? And she's right, I did it. Because when I do, she always feels it. Even if it doesn't go away completely, she always feels it. So in essence, it was an unspoken thing. I didn't tell her that I didn't do it, but she knows.
Do you know my mother also will tell me, you didn't do it. I know when you do it. She has gotten so used to me running the playlist on her that if I get interrupted and I completely forget and I'm really innocent about it, and I go, yeah, Mom, I did. And then I'll look, oh, shoot, I guess maybe I didn't do it. She goes, I know you didn't do it. I didn't feel it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
Daryl, mamas always know.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Mamas do always know. That's awesome. I love stories like that. Anybody else have a quick one?
I have a quick one. I had a friend who I scanned her, just her vitals. I didn't, we were about to teach a class in access bars, and so I didn't get to the comprehensive. So anyway, just did the vitals, didn't even email her the results. And then basically that was kind of the end of it. We haven't got together back, to scan her. She texts me out of the blue and says her cat, who she's very, very close to, is sick and throwing up and everything. And so then she was like, can you scan her? I said, send me her picture, did a profile, scanned her, and she was really sick for, several days. And Lee is very attached to her, and she was very upset. It just really, really upset her. And so I kept on scanning her. Now I did do her vitals in the morning, like in at night. Normally I wouldn't do that twice, but she was so sick. So I did the cat's vitals, I scanned her a couple times in a day. But anyway, the cat got better and she's extremely happy. And so, and I know she was telling other people about the scans. So
Nice.
that's exciting. Who knows what it's going to lead to, but it was a win-win situation.
Nice. Thank you, Anne, for sharing. All right, we are a minute from the Solex call, so we're going to end it tonight. Thank you all for being here. I'll get this uploaded on the YouTube and also in the group. So love you guys. See you next week.
Thank you. Thank you, Tammy.
You're welcome.
Night, Miss Tammy.
Good night.